Hello, this is your host Bob Cornelier, and welcome to On This Day in Brattleboro Vermont's History. Today's topic will be the Grange building fire of 1914. The Grange building fire, January 18, 1914. Elliott Street, Brattleboro, Vermont. This was the heaviest fire loss in Brattleboro, Vermont since the S.A. Smith Company fire in 1899. The total loss was $60,000 with insurance coverage of $28,900. The owner of the Grange block, Lindy Taylor, had losses valued at $30,000, insurance coverage of $15,000. G.O. Abbott & Son Groceries had meat, stock, refrigerator, plant, and fixtures at a $9,000 loss. Insurance covered $5,900. Fire was discovered by Ernest Goodnow, whose electrical business was located on the second floor of the building. He was passing by shortly after 5:30 p.m. when he noticed fire in the board partition separating the cellars of the stores. He ran to the fire department headquarters just east of the Grange building. An alarm was sounded from the fire alarm box 32 on the fire station. Early indications of fire started in the basement of the G.O. Abbott & Son store. Firefighters were handicapped by the lack of a cellar pipe, which would have enabled an effective stream on the cellar ceiling. The construction of the window openings into the cellar from the sidewalk made it very difficult to reach with ordinary nozzles. The smoke was so thick and pungent there was no opportunity for cutting holes into the first floor to get to the cellar. The firefighters fought for 2 hours to keep the fire in the basement, but the fire eventually worked its way into partitions and began to show in the Vermont Wheel Club and other rooms on the second floor. This spelled doom for the building. The firefighters turned their efforts to saving the building on the east side and the big stable in the rear. Horses, vehicles, and harness were moved out to safer quarters. 3 streams from the overhanging roof on the front of the white stable were effective in preventing the flames from leaping the narrow gap between the Grange building and the stable. Several firemen were injured during the fire due to the slippery conditions of the street, alleyway, and ladders. It was feared the walls of the Grange building would fall and spread the flames to the tinder boxes in close proximity. The east wall did buckle, but all stayed up. 2 a.m. the recall was sounded and some of the firefighters were relieved of their duties. G.O. Abbott & Son Grocery purchased the property and rebuilt the building that now stands. The project was finished in January 1915. It occupies the same space as the one destroyed. There are 3 stores on the ground floor. The second floor was devoted to apartments, and the third was to be occupied by the Brattleboro Wheel Club. This is your host, Bob Cornelier. Thank you for listening to this episode of This Day in Brattleboro Vermont History, the Grange Building Fire. Photos and information courtesy of the Brattleboro Vermont Historical Society and newspapers.com. The Brattleboro Historical Society is located on the 3rd floor of the municipal building, Suite 301. Hours are Thursdays 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. to 12 noon.